Have you ever wondered what makes some people keep going strong, happy, curious, and full of energy, even into their 90s? Maybe you know someone, a neighbor, an old friend, someone like Harold, who still plants tulips every spring and bakes bread for the church on Sundays, even at 92. What's their secret? What quiet habits carry them from one good year to the next? I imagine you're here because you're curious about that too. Well, I'm Albert, and you're listening to Golden Age Wisdom. Today, we'll talk about 8 simple habits that scientists have quietly discovered, habits that can gently, almost invisibly, help you live well past 90. Now, I know a thing or two about gray hair and creaky knees, but I also believe in the wisdom tucked into the corners of an old story or a quiet morning. The ideas I'll share aren't fancy, they're down to earth and practical, just small daily things that add up, like drops of rain making a mighty river. Let's take it slow together. We'll explore, we'll remember, and maybe we'll even look forward to trying something new. And along the way, I'd love to hear from you. Your memories, your favorite little routines, or anything you want to share in the comments below. This is our time, so settle in. Let's begin. The very first habit that scientists say links to living past 90 is something so simple, many folks overlook it. Habit 1, keep moving, but keep it gentle. Now, when you hear exercise, maybe you think of running marathons or lifting heavy weights, but that's not what we're talking about here. No need to relive PE class or lace up any sneakers you haven't seen in a while. The habit that matters is gentle, steady movement, the sort that fits into an ordinary old life. Scientists call it light daily activity. I call it pottering around. It might mean gardening, like Harold with his tulips, or sweeping the porch, or walking down the lane after dinner, letting your mind wander like a dog off-leash. Maybe it's stretching in the morning or dancing in the kitchen when no one's looking, just moving any way you can. I once knew a woman named Ruth. She was small, feisty, and always had flour on her nose from baking. Ruth never exercised, but she did work in her flower beds, stooping, tugging, humming to herself. She lived to 95 and kept her sparkle until the end. I think those hours in the sun, hands in the dirt, kept her alive in more ways than one. These soft, easy movements keep your blood flowing and your legs strong. They help your balance. They keep your heart humming along, not sputtering out. And perhaps most wonderfully, they give you reasons to keep going. A garden to water, a walk to look forward to. It's not about sweating buckets. It's about letting your body remember it's needed. So if you're watching and you have a favorite little way to move, even if it's just marching in place while the soup simmers, maybe share it in the comments. You never know who you might inspire. Habit 2, eating together and eating simply. Next, let's talk about food. Not the kind stacked high on television commercials, but real, simple food. The kind that smells good in the kitchen and makes you feel comfortable, not heavy or tired, after a meal. Scientists have found that folks who live past 90 tend to eat home-cooked meals, often in good company, and favor fresh food over packaged snacks. Think of the long tables at church suppers. Someone brings a big bowl of green beans, another brings mashed potatoes. Nobody counts calories or worries about superfoods or miracle diets. They just eat what the garden grows or what the local store provides. My friend Bill, well into his 90s with the kind eyes and slow shuffle, swears by starting every day with a bowl of oatmeal, a little honey, and some fruit. On Sundays, he and Dorothy make soup from whatever's left in the fridge, then call the neighbors to come share a bowl. These meals aren't fancy, but they're regular, kind, and usually shared. The scientists say that matters, not just for the nutrients, but for the feeling of belonging it brings. When you eat slowly with others, your body and your spirit both feel more content. You listen to stories, some you've heard a dozen times. You laugh, you feel cared for. Even if you're eating alone, lighting a candle or humming a tune while you cook can turn a meal into a comfort, not a chore. A gentle reminder, if you're enjoying this so far, maybe tap the little like button below, or subscribe for more gentle wisdom each week. That way, we can keep learning together. Habit 3. Stay curious. Keep learning. On to the third habit. This one's dear to my heart. Staying curious. It doesn't matter how many birthdays you've had, learning something new keeps your mind lively. What the folks in lab coats found is that people who read, solve little puzzles, play games, or try new hobbies are more likely to reach 90 and enjoy it when they get there. When I was a kid, my neighbor, Mr. Morales, would spend hours in his workshop tinkering with old clocks. Even after his hands got stiff and his hearing faded, he'd try to fix a watch or look up a new trick for whittling. He'd say, "As long as I've got a why, I've got a how." That spirit of curiosity, a hunger for little mysteries, kept him going long after most of his friends were gone. Maybe you like crossword puzzles, or learning new hymns on the piano, or following along with the news. Maybe you've picked up painting or poetry, or you just like to watch the birds at the feeder and wonder about their journeys. It doesn't have to be grand. Anything that gives your mind a reason to wander down a new path is fuel for a long, lively life. And remember, it's never too late to pick up a new hobby or read a new book. The brain, like the heart, is a muscle that strengthens with use. Habit 4. Sleep. The simple magic of rest. This may surprise you, but one of the strongest habits among folks who live past 90 is sleeping well. Not just long nights, but restful, peaceful sleep. Now, if you're anything like me, you may have had your share of tossing and turning past midnight. But the secret I learned from Aunt Dorothy is this: treat bedtime like a gentle ritual. Every evening, Dorothy would dim the lamps, slip into her old cotton nightgown, and sip a cup of warm tea while listening to quiet music. She'd tuck herself in, close her eyes, and thank the day for its gifts, even the small ones. Most nights, she slept straight through and woke up humming. Rest isn't just about closing your eyes. It's about telling your mind, you can put down your worries for now. It's about feeling safe, even if you're alone, and letting your breathing slow to a whisper. Scientists have mapped all sorts of sleep cycles and lighting tricks, but the simplest truth is, honoring bedtime brings peace to your mind and health to your years. Whether you read a poem, pray, or listen to the rain, let yourself have a little ceremony at the end of the day. Your heart will thank you. Habit 5. Tending to friendships. Now, perhaps the gentlest, yet most powerful habit of all is this: keeping company. It's easy, as the world gets busier and children scatter, to let friendships drift away. But the folks who live into their 90s tend to have a close circle, even just one or two people, who make life worth living. Ruth, who I mentioned earlier, spent her last 10 years in a small apartment, but every Sunday without fail, she'd walk to the corner to meet Cindy for coffee. They talked about everything and nothing. Sometimes they barely spoke, just listened to the city outside their window. That ritual of being together, week after week, meant everything. Friendship doesn't have to be complicated. It might be a phone call on Thursdays, a letter in the mailbox, a smile to the mailman, or a joke with the checkout lady at the store. These little moments, Small threads in the fabric of a long life are what keep the cloth from unraveling. If you have an old friend you haven't spoken to in a while, maybe make today the day you reach out, or share in the comments below something special a friend once did for you. Your story could spark a new connection for someone else here. Habit 6, a sense of purpose. Here's another secret the scientists found. People who live the longest and the happiest usually wake up with something to do. It doesn't have to be a big thing. In fact, it's often the small jobs that keep us grounded. Folding laundry, taking care of a pet, writing a birthday card, or tending to a window box of flowers. My neighbor Harold, the tulip man, retired 30 years ago, but he never saw himself as done. After he stopped working, he started building birdhouses for his grandchildren. When they moved away, he donated birdhouses to the local park. His days had gentle purpose, a thread pulling him forward. Think about what makes you look forward to tomorrow. Is it a volunteer job? A puzzle left unfinished? A promise to bake cookies for your great niece? Each purpose, small or large, keeps a person vital. The heart and body work better when they're needed. If you're unsure of yours, it's all right. Start simply. Water a plant, write a letter, or offer a kind word. Let your why be as gentle as a morning breeze. Habit 7, accepting, not fighting, the hard days. This one's tender. Life, if you've lived long enough, isn't always easy. Loss, pain, and worries, they find us all. But those who cross into their 10th decade don't seem to fight against sadness with clenched fists. Instead, they learn to accept storms as part of the weather. Bill once told me, "When my wife passed, I felt like a tree struck by lightning. But instead of falling over, I just let the rain water my roots." He didn't numb his pain or shut himself away. He sat with it, talked to his friends, and allowed time to soften the sharp edges. Science calls this resilience, but to me, it's just the art of letting yourself feel, then gently moving forward. Don't be afraid of your emotions, whether joy or sorrow. They're part of what makes your story worth sharing. On the hard days, remember you're not alone. Someone out there is holding a similar sadness, a parallel hope. If you want to share in the comments about something you've learned from a tough time, know you'll be met with kindness. There's no rush to fix things, just an invitation to keep going. Habit 8, gratitude, savoring the goodness right now. And here we are at habit number 8. This one might be my favorite. Folks who live past 90 almost always have this quiet habit. They savor the sweetness of small moments every single day. Not just the grand holidays, but the scent of fresh coffee, the sound of rain on the windows, the warm hand of a friend in yours. They take the time to notice goodness, however small, and to quietly give thanks for it. Every evening, my own mother would list 3 tiny treasures from her day before she slept. Maybe the doves returned to the feeder, or the blanket felt soft this morning. She lived to 94, and in her later years, even as her health faltered, her heart was light because she practiced daily gratitude. Scientists say this habit keeps stress low and spirits high. You can practice gratitude by keeping a simple journal or by saying thank you out loud, even if it's just to your cup of tea. Let yourself be delighted by the ordinary. You might be surprised how much beauty you find. Let's take a breath together here. 8 simple habits: gentle movement, simple meals, curious minds, restful sleep, steady friendships, quiet purpose, accepting hardship, and daily gratitude. It doesn't sound like a prescription. It's more like a gentle invitation. a way of living that's calm and kind. Now, if you've made it this far, thank you for walking this path with me today. Maybe take a moment, right now, to recall a habit, a memory, or something quiet you do each day that brings you comfort. I'd love you to share it with us below. Your wisdom is just as precious as any scientist's. And if you enjoyed our gentle chat, maybe click like or subscribe so you never miss a new lesson from Golden Age wisdom. And if there's someone in your life, a friend, a brother, your old neighbor, who might need a little encouragement, share this video with them. Goodness grows when we share it around. As I finish, let me leave you with a thought. Each of us is a story. Each story is made of little choices, quiet habits, and moments of hope. Science can explain a lot, but living past 90 and doing it with a full heart is really about pausing to notice, reaching out your hand, and staying soft to the world no matter how old you become. Let me know in the comments one small habit or gentle ritual that's helped you stay sharp, steady, or full of gratitude as you've grown older. Your voice can inspire someone else who needs it. Thank you kindly for spending this time together. Remember, no matter what the calendar says, each day is new. Each habit is an act of kindness to yourself. I wish you grace, warmth, and all the simple joys this season can bring. Until next time, I'm Albert, and this has been Golden Age Wisdom. Take care of yourself, and don't forget, you're never too old to start a gentle, wonderful habit today.